Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a pretty unpleasant rack, lots of duplicates, no scoring tiles. So I can't see a 7 with this rack. It's possible there's an 8, so I'll see what floaters opponent provides. And they're pretty bingo-y floaters. Do they assist? How about the I rather? Not seeing anything there. The D. No. How about the L? No. And then finally the E, probably the most useful. Well, I'm not seeing anything. So how to sort the rack out? Well, certainly playing the duplicates, which is playing rat. And then the G. Idle takes an R after it. And an S in front. So I could play Gart for 15, and I think I will. Well, more single point tiles. This looks slightly more promising. Through an S I would have Treasure and Austerer. How about the floating consonants on the board? Gart takes an H after it, and only an H, I think. So that's quite a hot spot. Should you have one of those H's? Now, does my rack make anything with a D? Well, the D remains available. I'm not seeing anything. The U slightly hampering the bingo potential of this rack. URE, a possible ending for a word. Okay, so I'm not seeing a 7, I'm not seeing anything through the D. What about something beginning with the L? No. So now JA takes an R at the end, which may be where I'm heading this go. So do I have a play ending UR? Well, no, I thought I had Auteur for a moment, but I only have one U. So, well, that's what I'm looking at. It's not bad as for 15 points. But can I do better? And Gia also available. It would be nice to play off an E as well. And Gia would take out the H spot. I'm going back to the idea of playing UR. This is a pretty good 5-letter set, provided I don't draw 2 vowels. I'm going with this. Well, I draw just the 1 vowel, so this rack surely has some promise. I trail by 19 with opponent on turn. And I do have an R and L for Jeer and Jeel. Opponent changes, which is promising. Jarl is also good, and GUE. Just wondering if there's a 7 with this rack. Pretty high probability if there is. And it's Later, T-A-R-E, not T-E-R-E. And I don't think re-elated is good, or... well, that's re-altered would be 9. Again, a bingo through the D would be very high probability. Not seeing anything. So, I could play real for 23. Can I play off one more vowel? $17. I think the irony helped this. But is this the best I can do? 23 points, opponent changes. Real does take a C in front. I'm leaving these floaters available. And should I be playing real in row J to take out the Garth spot? Leah for 17, keeping T. Very tricky. I suspect there is a best answer here. I'm slightly bugged that there could be a 7-letter bingo with this rack, but it hasn't come to mind. I'm going with real for 23. And part of my reasoning was that the rack leave of AET went well with the R, but I don't think this rack has materialised into a bingo. I do have Paver and Gia. Adji and Agu, both good. Triel isn't good. Does this rack make anything through an I? Now, opponent changing 3 means he probably kept 4 good tiles, so there's a good possibility he's on the brink of bingoing. Gosh, close to perviate. But I don't think there is a bingo here. Wow, opponent doesn't bingo and burns an S, only gets 30 points, so he may well have retained an S on his rack. I don't think any of these new floaters provide a bingo for me. So do I have a play which gets the V tripled? Don't think I do. So the best I've seen is Vapor for 23. I'm going with this. Quite nice, slightly vowel heavy and no E's, but this feels close to a bingo. I would have Radiator onto an R, so I do have a bingo in row D at the moment. That stays available and just 18 points for opponent. Fantastic. So, Radiator for 60. I draw an H, but the Garth spot has gone. And I have 5 vowels, which isn't good. And a slender lead. Opponent's recent play suggests his rack could well be maturing into a bingo territory. And I suspect he's still got an S on his rack. But the board looking quite tight, which is good while I'm ahead. So how can I sort this rack out? I could play Uri in column 5, which actually becomes more attractive now since opponent has taken out some of the top row, so I'm not creating bingo floaters in row A. I'm creating no new bingo lines, and the rack leave is pretty good. I'm going with this. Gosh, that's a pretty poor pickup. 4 vowels, all 1-pointers on my rack. And my lead, just 20 odd points. And now my lead has gone, but I have the tempo. What can I do with it? Well, I can play AIA for a pretty good rack lead, taking out floaters. And this board is now super tight, really, really tight. So we could get into the ideal situation of opponent opening the board because he's close to a bingo and me then shutting down his opening. But at the moment I see no bingo lanes apart from this sea of civvy. AIA for 14. Pretty good. Do I have something beginning with the C? I don't think I do. So if opponent does bingo in that lane, it'll be me who needs to open the board up. Which I could do with Endgame down from column 8 for 27 points. Now, this is the situation I was envisaging, opponent opening the board up. And I was imagining just scoring off it, but do I have a bingo off this opening? Does this rack make a bingo with a T? Nothing has jumped to mind, so that will be Tornade plus an E. Not seeing anything. I think Ute does take an S after it. What I could do is play Poa for 12 points. Poa takes an S, but that would be opening up column 1. This is quite a good rack lead, but not a great one. Let me think a little bit more about this. I have 11 minutes on my clock, 37 tiles in the bag, including both blanks. Just rechecking the C in case I have a bingo beginning with that. But nothing comes to mind. Poa doesn't feel great, only 12 points, and the rack lead isn't great either. It's not terrible, but it's not great. What about something beginning with D? Not seeing anything. So how about a play beginning of a couple of squares to the left, which would then take out row M, except for multiple overlaps. So I would like to reach the double word square, and I'm looking to play off 6 tiles. Not seeing anything, only 4 E's to come. So, what about playing roted? 6 points, shocking. I'm not doing that. I've spent enough time. I'm going with Poa. Still 3 S's and 2 blanks to come. I do not feel good about that play. And I don't have a bingo with this rack. Great. Opponent doesn't bingo and only scores 9 points, but we're dead level. He's opened a new bingo lane because bid takes an A in front. So, how to sort this rack out? Can't see any good scoring spots for the W. Nothing in row A. And well, trouble with this rack is, or this board, is it's very hard to score. It doesn't feel good scoring crappy 12 and 14 points, but I'm just not seeing the opportunity for scoring more. And I'm thinking about playing in column 4 at the bottom here, but that would just be opening things up, and I don't want to do that. £17, so I'm taking out this bingo lane. I'm creating an easy overlapping scoring opportunity. Only 7 minutes on my clock, 33 tiles to come. This is terrible. I am wasting so much time. But it's a really hard board to deal with. So let me take drastic action. Watered for 22. Good, I have the Q with the U. I've got Quai in column 14 and Quail. I'm still vulnerable to a bingo because my lead is only 20 points and there are bingo lanes on this board. In particular column 3. However, just one A to come. What else do I have apart from Quay and Quail? And I'll probably retain the L for vowel consonant balance. Not seeing, wow. Well, opponent probably does have the A, well, or an S, because get takes an A and an S. So I have Quay for 33. Do I have something better? The opponent must be about to bingo. I'm going with this. Well, quite a nice rack. I have Nucleon. Is there anywhere to play it? I don't think there is. Maybe if opponent bingos in either column 3 or row N, there will be a spot for it. That's encouraging. Get doesn't take anything else after it apart from an A and an S. And bid only takes an A in front. What about the C? What about the I? 7 minutes on my clock, 24 tiles in the bag. Still a lot of action to come. Q takes an I after it, 3 I's to come, so column 15. Well, available for 6 letter plays ending in I, not many of those. I think Radiator takes a Y after it as well as an S, but both Y's have gone. Still both blanks to come. Still Z and X to come. It will be very interesting to see opponent's racks, because I've felt that he's been very close to a bingo for a long time. He does bingo now, but the floaters he's provided are not helpful. He has not provided a spot for Nucleon. He's taken a 20-point lead. 17 tiles left. I don't think there are any tiles here really worth hanging on to. So what I could do is play Nucleon for 30 points to maximise my chances of drawing blank S, Z and X. Let me check the remaining vowels. 8 out of 24, so I could be drawing 6 consonants. Let's see what happens. And I don't, and I draw an S and an X. And opponent didn't have an A, so there's still an A available for Gita, which could prove quite critical. Wow, 76 points for opponent. Fantastic. He now establishes a bingo's lead. 8 tiles to come, and they're all pretty bingo-y, but not many vowels. Wox is good. So, I can play Fox. I'm just wondering if I've got a 5-letter play ending IX. don't think I do. That would have been a monster. And this rack lever men's pretty good, especially with column 2 available. So, fix for 65. I dodged the blank. I do draw a vowel. I would have mamelons through an A. And look at this, just 7 points between us. Good score for opponent, 31 points. He's almost certainly got the blank. And he's in a strong position, having a 30-point lead. And I can only play off 1 tile if I want to bingo, which I do. So I think I'll play Mo. And I've got column 2 available, and it's only column... Oh, and row A. But is there a bingo with these 6 tiles? Well, there's row B as well. 5 minutes on my clock. So, do I play Mo? It has to be an M. Pretty sure it has to be an M, but is there a better spot for the M? 3 minutes on my clock? I don't think so. I'm going with this. And I draw the P. So, do I have a bingo? I'm not optimistic. Opponent has Ikebana. Does he have anywhere for that? He does. He has Ikebana in column 2. Tricky one to spot. So, should he not spot it? And there could be other bingos there. Do I have anything beginning with C? I don't think so. Or I? No, so I don't think this is going to be a win. Wow, opponent misses his bingo. So a bingo for me would win. 3 minutes on my clock. Wow, so close. Close to compline. Just not seeing anything beginning with C. What about I? I've got the im and imp and in prefix. Not seeing anything. Any other bingo lanes to consider? I don't think so. Column 3, just about. On to an N. Not seeing anything there. So I now need to focus on minimising the losing spread. I need to see if opponent has got 2 outs for his B. Well, he's got Neb. He's got Bow, so he is certainly going out. How can I maximise score here? So I have Ulm for 34. Can I do better? Be quite nice to play off the M with the P. But I'm not seeing anywhere great for that. I could do Poem, but I suspect that doesn't score anything like as much, only 22. So I'm going with Ulm. And opponent has a choice of outs. And he finds one. So, the final score, 373 for me, 426 for my opponent, a winning margin of 53 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. So it was my opponent to go first. He played Idle. And I played Gart. And I still like that. Opponent's rack plays G. And this looked promising, but I couldn't find anything. No bingo. Look at that, only one score over 20. So I play for 15, keeping quite a good rack lead. Opponent swamped with eyes. Changes. Now this is my rack. Phew, I was about to feel pretty bad about missing a bingo with such a high probability set. But I didn't. And again, a similar situation. The best available just around the 20 mark. So I play real for 23. And that looks fine. Opponent plays stay. And look at that. He did not have a second S. He was just sorting his rack out. My rack. I play vapor. And I think that's fine. Opponent plays ivy. And now I felt that I had a good break because I had radiator. And I established half a bingo's lead. Opponent plays civvy. Wow! Missed bingo. Where's that go? F7. Audiphone through D and P. Wow! I didn't know that word. But there was a bingo there. Well done if you spotted that. And do let me know in the comments below if you did, because it's a pretty hard one to see. So, what did I do? I played Uri for 16, keeping AEN, and Hinor available, I11. Yeah, but that opens up bingo lanes, in particular a 7-letter bingo lane for bingos ending in S. So I don't think Uri is far off the pace of the non-bingo candidate plays. Opponent's rack plays of. Now just 6 points between us, so I still have the tempo. And AIA feels pretty good because it takes out bingo lanes, it sorts the rack out. Opponent really struggling for vowels. Plays Ute. And just 1 point between us. Again, this was a rack I was feeling that I could have missed a high probability bingo, but I didn't. And again, nothing even in the 30s. And I really didn't like my play here. I played Poa, keeping a rack lead, which I don't think is very good. Ender, it's positive rack lead, but I don't think it's worth more than about 5 or 6 points, which isn't huge. J11. Anode, yeah, maybe I should have done that. 27 points, pretty good. But I didn't, I played Poa. And opponent's rack, wow, pretty much he just needed one vowel here with the blank. So he plays bid. Liu, J11. Okay, so that's another play running parallel to Aya. And I played Watered for 22, and I had in mind the 2 blanks which were unseen from my perspective. So I don't think that's a bad play, and I think it has some merit because it takes out a 7-letter S lane. It requires such a play to have a further overlap. Opponent's rack plays Get. And now I played Quay. I could have played Quail, but I was mindful of the vowel consonant balance. However, there probably was already a vowel shortage, so maybe Quail would have been a better play. It would be 3 more points. And this is where opponent bingos and establishes a lead. And I have Nucleon, but nowhere to play it. So I play Nucleon, but not as a bingo. And look at this, despite opponent bingoing, I was actually in the lead at this point. But opponent having bingo drew the blank, an S, and the Z, and a couple of vowels. So great pickup for him, especially with this Z spot available. So opponent scores 76. But I'm able to come back with a 65-point X play. And now just 7 points between us. But look at this for a rack. Wow. Opponent misses a bingo. Bitchin available in column 2 for 92 points. Tricky one to spot. Anagram of Benthic. and opponent plays hint, holding on to the blank, so he's definitely got the upper hand. And there's just one tile in the bag now. And I play off the M, which has got to be the best play, even if that isn't the best position. But I'm not blocking a bingo lane. And these are all of the bingos opponent had at the end. He has a ton of them. I spotted Ikebana. I think that's the only one I mentioned, but there were others. Opponent plays intake. And now I do have a chance of winning if I can bingo with this rack. But there isn't a bingo. I got 34 for Ulm. But I could have played Impones at B8, beginning with the I, which would have been better because opponent would have gotten less on countback. So, what a game. Really, really close, with opponent with the blanks probably making the difference right at the end, with opponent drawing well after non-egos. But a strange game in that I was very close to a bingo on many racks, as indeed was my opponent, but there weren't as many bingo opportunities as there first appeared to be, with Audiphone the only one which was available from my racks. Anyway, an interesting game. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I will see you next time.